still as unprofessional as ever. um, so if you saw my ranking video games in general videos, I'll probably put the link to the first one in the description. Um, then you saw that I have completed like 3 Zelda games, and then started but not finished 2 of them. I actually started but didn't finish 3 of them. I forgot to put the Wind Waker in the video. Um, but anyway, now today I will be ranking all the dungeons of those games. Now you may see these 3 ones. This is tiermaker.com. I don't know how to put this not in the tier, so I accidentally put the Wind Temple, Earth Temple, and Ganon's Tower from Ocarina of Time in this without thinking that, without remembering that I haven't finished this one. I haven't played these ones, so they're in there, and I'm not going to talk about them. Okay. But let's get right into it. Oh, I guess I should mention which games we got: Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Minish Cap, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and A Link Between Worlds. Okay. Okay. We'll start with Deku Tree. Okay, I should probably mention before I talk about this, I have, this will become important later, I have only played the 3D versions of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I have not played the originals. So, if you hear me talk about something in these dungeons that is like, and you're like, what is he talking about? It's because I played the 3D version, not the original. So, when I talk about, well, I guess I'm not going to be talking about Great Bay from Majora's Mask. I started but didn't finish that dungeon, alright? But anyway, whatever. Great Deku Tree. It's of all the tutorial dungeons, of all the like first dungeons, we talk about Ocarina of Time being a landmark in the series, obviously, because even the developers say, "Oh, that's got to be," it's the entrance to 3D and all that. But this for tutorial dungeon, Deku Tree is actually really good. You start the game by doing just kind of not menial task. You do a menial task, which is getting stuff, and the vibe is pretty good. You got the song and the people, and Kakiri Forest is just a pretty upbeat place, right? Well, if you don't know, the Deku Tree, the song in the dungeon is very more of just like ambient, windpipe thing. I don't know what the instrument is called, but it's very just kind of moody. It's a very moody atmosphere. And the tutorial tools that the Deku Tree uses, like the Skulltulas for looking up, it teaches you to look up, and the boss, which teaches you to, time your things, time your slingshot attacks. They're very good teaching tools, I will say. And for that, and also the story aspect, Ocarina of Time doesn't have the best story, I don't think. Not really close. But at least in the beginning it's not close. But I will say it's pretty sad to watch the Deku Tree die at the end. So we're gonna put it in high B. I don't think I'm gonna put it in A, but it's gonna be up there. Alright. Dodongo's Cavern. We started on a very high note. Dodongo's Cavern is a little bit more complicated, though. You see, Deku Tree was more about puzzles, teaching the player how 3D Zelda works, right? Well, Dodongo's Cavern is more focused on combat, teaching the player how 3D Zelda works in combat. Now, obviously, the player already knows how combat works in 3D Zelda, but it's more of kind of like pounding in the message, driving it home and saying, yeah, this is how it's gonna work. You're probably gonna die a few times if you're a first-time player going to Dodongo's Cavern, but it's worth it. Now combine this with some pretty good enemies, like the Fire Keys and the Beamos, and then also another good atmosphere. I do think Dodongo's Cavern is a pretty underrated dungeon. I like the cool. I mean, okay, so the boss. Obviously, the boss is terrible. You don't want to fight King Dodongo. I mean, I, you know what? I do want to fight King Dodongo just so I can smash his head with my bombs because he's such a bad boss. But it is pretty satisfying to watch him die. So pretty much, I'd say probably everything in Dodongo's Cavern, minus a couple minor things like how frustrating Lysolphos can be, and the boss, obviously. I think it's a pretty good dungeon, so I'm gonna put it right here under the Deku Tree, All right. Now we get to Jabu Jabu's belly, and I gotta say here, spoiler alert, this is the low point of the game. This right here, like 2 hours in, the low point of Ocarina of Time's dungeons. And just for that, just for the third dungeon in the game out of 9 to be the worst dungeon, that's good. For Ocarina of Time, such a trailblazing game, you'd expect the dungeons to be terrible. And yet you've got 9 main dungeons and 2 not main dungeons. I will go over Ice Cavern and Bottom of the Well. But it's impressive, it really is, that I think only one dungeon is really, really bad, and that is Jabu Jabu's belly. Now, why is it bad? Well, first of all, the aesthetic is weird. I feel like it wouldn't be... I feel like it would be more palatable if the music weren't as bad. I'm not going to play the music, but just go look it up. It really is bad. It just makes you feel like you're inside a fish, and you are inside a fish. So yeah, if you're going for realism, boom, you've got it. You're inside a fish. But it just doesn't make sense. Here's another thing. Why are you falling down holes, and why are there like lightning things inside Jabu Jabu's belly? It is a fish. Fish they aren't made like that. Yeah, you could say, oh, he's cursed, so these weird lightning things are in it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He still has weird holes that Ruto is falling down and you are falling down. He's a fish. He can't have that. So that's unrealistic. It's kind of like... I think Jabu Jabu's belly is kind of like Pokemon Black and White. It has a muddled focus. A very muddled focus. Is it trying to be realistic? Yeah, it's realistic to a fault. Is it trying to be not realistic? Yeah, it's not realistic to a fault. And that just kind of makes it kind of disgraceful, to be honest. I'll rag on Ocarina of Time for being, it's a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's just overrated. But yeah, this is the worst part of Ocarina of Time. One of the worst parts, in my opinion. In the original, the worst part is obviously the water temple, but so Jabu Jabu's belly is going down. See. Okay, I have time to talk about the forest temple. Ha ha ha. Okay, forest temple. Wow. So forest temple, everybody likes it, and that's all right. Everybody likes the forest temple. And why do people like the forest temple? First, it makes them feel cool. The vibes are cool. You got the song and just the surroundings, right? The hookshot is cool. The hookshot is one of my favorite, if not my favorite. Well, no, the claw shot is my favorite, but the hookshot is one of my favorite Zelda items in all of Zelda. Um, which again isn't saying a lot 'cause I've only played like 6 games, but out of the 20. But yeah, actually that's not true. I'm almost done with the original. I'm on Death Mountain, but so that's 7 games. But here's the thing, I don't like the music. That's a really weird thing to say, but I just don't. I find it annoying. If I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing, trying to do this puzzle here, I don't want the weird noises in my way distracting me, you know? It just doesn't make sense. Stalfos, this is really just me. It's a problem with me. But Stalfos annoy me because I'm bad at the game, and Stalfos are hard. At least with my current equipment, when I go into the Forest Temple, I'm a very linear person. I usually only have 7 or 8 hearts at this point. So Stalfos being really hard in this game doesn't help my opinion of them. They really just aren't my favorite to fight. What else is there? Oh, it's kind of confusing. It's a little bit confusing. It's not as confusing as the Water Temple, or I don't know what else is confusing. It's not as confusing as the Death Mountain from the original. I really should have put the original dungeons in here, but I didn't feel comfortable enough because I'm only on my first playthrough. It's not as confusing as some other dungeons. We'll just say that. As the City in the Sky. This one right here from Twilight Princess. But I don't know. I find the Forest Temple to be more of just like a stepping stone. A stepping stone for me to get used to Adult Link and the Master Sword and all that. I'm not gonna say it's not memorable. I guess I remember it. I don't remember the dungeon layout very well, but that's really all of the bad I can say about it. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it that much. Probably not as much as everybody else. I don't think it's a bad dungeon. I just know that I myself don't like it very much. So for that, I'm gonna put it right here. I'm sorry, all you Forest Temple fans, but I will see you in the next video.